Thanks for joining us again today on Monday, the 25th of March. So I'll start this morning's briefing off by giving you some statistics from over the weekend. Director Cotter with Public Works will give you some operational updates. You'll also be hearing from the City Emergency Manager, Regan Smith, and Minnehaha County Emergency Manager, Jason Gearman. So as we looked at some numbers throughout the weekend, our sandbagging operations through their 6 days of operation handed out 60, as in 60,200 sandbags. Things really trailed off between Saturday and Sunday, but there still were operations going. Since the start of the operation, we've had just over 2,000, so 2,050 loads of flood-related debris have gone into the landfill for disposal. Last weekend, so Friday through Sunday, police officers issued 36 citations for people that violated the closed parks and closed bike trails ordinance. And again, those are Class 2 misdemeanors. And we've really put those barricades in place for the safety of the public. So we're really continuing to ask people to respect those barricades and please stay away from the parks. We had 1,234 flood-related calls received by 211 since the start of the operation. A total of 2,700 volunteers have called in to offer assistance both with sandbagging and then helping people as they need to muck out or clean up their properties. So that's amounting to 4,422 donated volunteer hours of service through 211 since this event started. I'm reminding everyone that we are still going to have folks that are going to need help with clean out of debris, so if people are still interested in assisting with that, do call 211 and they'll continue to match people willing to volunteer with people that do have need. Again, we do have a number of parks closed along the Greenway system, mostly because of the debris in the parks, and the bike trail system does remain closed for two reasons. We need to safely facilitate levee patrols as we're monitoring the levees during this high water event, and a number of locations along the bike trail system have been impacted by flooding and are underwater. If you do want to see what is going on with the river and in some of our areas around the community, we do have a number of webcams available through siouxfalls.org, so you can link on to a number of the operations that we have going around Sioux Falls. Over the weekend, we had just over 8,000 views on some of those cameras, so it really is a nice way to see what's going on while you're staying safe doing it. And then lastly, our folks from Team Rubicon demobilized on Sunday, so they were here for 4 days. They supported our operations by providing us over 20 volunteers that came to us from a number of different states across the Midwest. They logged in just over 900 volunteer hours for us. And then they also, when they came in, took over our public sandbag filling operation, and through that they managed just over 2,280 volunteers. They were really a great asset and came in and helped prop up some of those operations for us so we could concentrate on other events, so we really can't thank them enough. With that, I'll turn the podium over to Director Cotter from Public Works.
Thank you, Sandy. You bet. Good morning. I'll give you a number of updates today. I think first we just want to start out, we feel like we've been very fortunate with the cooler temperatures up in the basins. It has created a slower melt, and on top of it, so far we've not gotten rain, and so it's been those two contributing points have allowed us to really manage through these higher river flows. We are hoping that our partners up in Del Rapids, Baltic, and Renner are managing through their current situation and that everyone remains safe. I'll give you a few updates from the operation. National Weather Service, and if you are interested, you can go out to the National Weather Service site. Their gauging stations are public, and you can see when you click on those how the river's rising when you look at Trent, Del Rapids, I-90, all the way through the city of Sioux Falls system to track where those river levels are. This morning they shared with us that Skunk Creek is currently flowing at about 3,200 CFS. The gauge height is at 10 feet. The water levels are expected to slowly decrease over the course of this week. Big Sioux River is expected to crest in the middle of the night tonight, and so they're targeting around 3 a.m. on Tuesday for us to see that crest come through, and they're predicting that it'll be somewhere between 18,000 and 20,000 CFS. After that crest, they are expecting that flow to tail off a little bit, but then we're going to be at relatively high flows for about the next week to 10 days. So we'll be watching that really closely. Infrastructure, we got a picture over my left-hand shoulder here. That's the main pump station. It's out on Rice Street. About 95% of the city's wastewater goes through that pump station. That's why it was critical to make sure that it was protected and fortified if water levels reached that. And so that's been protected along with other critical lift stations along the Big Sioux River that can be impacted by rising levels. Also behind me is a picture of a toolcat, a Bobcat toolcat. We've got 3 two-man crews that are out now on 12-hour shifts that will drive the tops of the levees. They'll be looking at the rate of rise in the river underneath the bridges. They'll also be looking for anything that could affect the integrity of the levees, whether it's seepage, a sand boil, a gate that's maybe not operating as it should. We want to have eyes in the field during these high river flows for about the next week, we expect. We'll adjust it accordingly. If there was a situation, we do have a rapid response plan that we can address those situations. Sandy mentioned some of the stats on the public sandbagging operation. What a incredible effort from the people with property and the volunteers that stepped up to support that operation. It has transitioned over now to it's a distribution site, so there's about 5,000 sandbags that are available for people to just still pull in and pick up. We had about 3,000 bags picked up yesterday. We are working on plans once these river flows have come through the city, what to do with all these sandbags, and so that will be in the days to come. We're still in the response effort of this event, and so when we transition to recovery, we'll have more information on that for you. And then last, just wanting to share with you, we continue to work with the Corps of Engineers. Their technical experts are here working closely with our team, that as we identify situations, they're here to advise us. They are experts in this area and really fortunate to have those guys as partners. I'll bring up next Regan Smith to share with you his updates.
Regan Smith, Emergency Manager, City of Sioux Falls. As Mark and others have said, we are still in that response mode, so the city's going to continue with our plans there and remain vigilant. We want the public to continue to take the river levels seriously and, definitely stay away from the river again for the next 7 to 10 days. We are, even though we are in that response mode, we are looking forward and starting to make some of those recovery plans, demobilizing unneeded resources, dusting off our debris management plans for that flood-related debris. What are we going to do with all of these sandbags? We'll have something figured out there later this week. And then finally, working with Minnehaha, Lincoln County, other entities in the state of South Dakota, will begin that damage assessment process. We'll look at our parks, our streets, our public works facilities, and determine what our losses were and report that to the state of South Dakota. With that, I'll turn it over to Jason Gearman with Minnehaha County Emergency Management.
Jason Gearman, Minnehaha County Emergency Management. Just a couple updates. We're thinking the high water flow through Del Rapids will come late this evening. It's about a 6-hour difference from what was predicted in Sioux Falls. Baltic, Renner, we'll see that effect throughout the evening also. We're having a lot of issues with people still driving by barricades and wanting to go look in these towns, and it's causing some traffic congestion in the city of Del Rapids, Baltic, and Renner. There will be a checkpoint at Renner where you probably won't be allowed in, so don't even bother going up there. We encourage you not to go up there and stay out of those towns, so we don't deplete our resources having to turn people around. That's about all I have for now. Any questions for the county?
Why are you guys locking off Renner?
Too many people. There's too many people coming in that don't belong there, so we're just keeping the residents to allow them to come back and forth. There's no reason. You can't get through it anyway. You can't get to Baltic right now from the interstate due to the high water west of Baltic. All right.
Is there anything else we can help you with for questions yet today? Okay, thanks for coming and joining us.